Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the Perth Blue Baggers pod. My name is Louis, your host.
And I'm Marty on special comments.
In this episode, we will be reviewing our loss to Collingwood in round 21, and we will be previewing our round 22 clash against Hawthorn. So let's get into it. We fell short of a miraculous comeback against Collingwood in a 3-point defeat. We trailed as much as 32 points in the final term, but fought back with momentum, but unfortunately missed a chance from Mitch McGovern after the siren to lose heartbreakingly. It was a frustrating night for the Baggers, who were forced to defend for large portions of the middle two quarters. We were led by our captain Cripps and George Hewitt throughout the game and helped us to rally the troops in the last term. Yet another close loss to the old enemy.
Yeah, look, it was disappointing. You always hate losing close ones, and you particularly hate losing close ones to the Pies. You know, that's particularly tough. Look, there was like a lot of us, I was delighted to see us fight back and to really give it a red-hot go in the last quarter and give ourselves every chance of winning. And you don't want to throw in the towel, and I think that's really pleasing. But at the end of the day, we only really played one decent quarter. And when you only play one decent quarter, you don't give yourself a chance to win usually. And you got to remember too, even though the reigning premiers, even after this win, they're only 11th of the ladder. And their recent form wasn't that great.
Yeah.
So it's not like we were pushing one of the best teams in the comp to within a goal. This is a game that we really should be winning. So coming off the back of other losses, and now this is 4 losses out of the last 5 games, we really have put a massive dent in our own finals chances, to the extent that we're really fighting for a spot in the 8 now, let alone fighting for a spot in the final 4. And these are the kind of matches that you look back at the end of the season and go, that's the one that got away, that's the one that we should have won. So I think that's naturally we're a bit disappointed by that result. Look, there's a couple of things, some extra points there. The first 8 scores for Colton were all behinds. Now, some of them were rush behinds, but even when you get rush behinds, that's a sign that your forward line's not functioning optimally.
No.
So that really hurt us, and you know we were quite dominant early, but we didn't have anything to show for it.
Yeah.
And in close matches where you have periods of domination and periods where you don't, you got to capitalise on those periods where you have domination. So I think that was disappointing. Obviously, at least we were winning a lot of the footy in the first quarter. I think the problem in the second and third quarters was we simply weren't winning enough of the footy and were second to the ball, and that pressure that Michael Voss prides his team on still wasn't completely there. So we had 2 pretty poor quarters, one quarter where we should have really made the most of things, and a quarter where we were fantastic at the end. But we did leave a lot of it too late. Just a couple of notes in. We did lead in clearances, which is good.
Yeah.
So we won the clearances. We had overall more disposals, and we led on a number of key indicators. But we were outdone in tackles, which I think is a sign that we're not quite on our game and the pressure level is not strong enough. And we're outdone in 1%ers, same indicator, same type of indicator. So they're the areas where we know we've got to work on, and we want to get back in the winner's circle.
Yeah, so I guess there's a few positives to take out of it. So the last quarter was probably the best footy we played in the last month. The last quarter, and Voss acknowledged this. But leaving it too late needs to be reviewed. Then we had, as positive after having some injuries to Chera, Kocher and Curnow throughout the game. We, in the last quarter again, able to make some opportunities. And then the return of Jack Martin added some depth and stability to the forward line, I thought. And we need to build cohesion, which will aid in consistent performances.
Well, it was good that we had Martin come back, and he'll be better for the run. Usually in your first game back, you're not as strong. Of course, we've got injuries discussion, and we had a few where we went backwards as well. So, yeah. I think you had a few that you're going to mention there.
Yeah, and then there's a few issues. We'll go back to the issues. We need to manage player fitness. Preventing injuries is critical for maintaining performance levels, of course. So Adam Chera's third injury, hamstring injury this season, is certainly a concern. But it is what it is. So next man up mentality needs to come through. Obviously, we had the scoring challenges, and where we could have put the Pies on the back foot in the first quarter, especially. So need to have a fast start. Always helps. Really, it's just consistent every quarter. Back to the Richmond and Geelong-like games where we actually played 4 quarters of good footy there, and probably Essendon as well. So that's important. Another problem that I noticed was that we've had to play in the back half a lot. So found ourselves stuck in the back half, struggling to gain territory and momentum. We're forced to kick it long into contest, and that's where Collingwood's tools outmarked us in the form of Moore and Cameron. So that was a problem. And then overall, this was a test for a finals like competition exposure, and we need to consistently rise to these challenges posed by high quality opponents.
I mean, it's not a bad thing having a few close matches, but you just want to be on the winning end of them, because I think that gives you confidence. And these were the type of matches earlier in the season we were winning, and certainly they were the type of matches late last season that we're winning.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into the votes, the notable performances of the match. So again, I'm going to be doing them. So 5 votes for George Hewitt. This was his best game of the season. Chose him over Patrick Cripps because he was certainly in the mix for 5 votes too. Because he had 2 goal assists and 11 score involvements, highlighting his impact. Had impactful start as well with 10 disposals and 5 clearances in the first quarter, and ended it well with 8 disposals and 3 clearances. So he stepped up when we needed him in the last quarter. Overall, he tallied 32 disposals, 20 of which were contested, 5 marks, 11 score involvements, 2 goal assists, 20 pressure acts, 12 clearances, 6 inside 50s, and 343 metres gained. And he must not be dropped again.
And it's a good point. It's hard to believe that George Hewitt was dropped.
Yeah.
And since he's come back in, he's been sensational. He's been one of those guys that has been really good. I like Kennedy and Hewitt both in the team, actually. I think that they're both really real workhorses. They both give you 4 quarters. And Kennedy in particular is a bit of a utility. He helps out in lots of different ways.
Very adaptable.
Very adaptable. He's good when he came on, Kennedy. And look, I'd rather see him play for the full 4 quarters and not be the sub myself.
Yep. So 4 votes. Cripper. Once again, put the team on his back and worked hard all night trying to get us over the line. 30 disposals, 15 contested, 4 marks, 4 tackles, 9 score involvements, 1 goal assist, 556 metres gained, 7 clearances, and 9 inside 50s.
In the Brownlow votes again, I reckon.
Yeah, you'd think, and 9 coaches' votes.
Probably may not get the 3, but 1 or 2, and they all count. So at least he's continuing the charge on towards the Brownlow even when we're not winning games.
Yep. 3 votes for Nick Newman. Another strong performance from Noodles in the back line. I reckon he's been one of the most consistent players in the team. Been finding a lot of votes recently and probably throughout the season. He had 34 disposals, 91% disposal efficiency, 12 marks, 5 tackles, 4 intercepts, 4 score involvements, 503 metres gained, and 5 rebound 50s.
Yeah, not bad. Pretty good effort. Isn't it from Newman?
Yeah.
Just so consistent, plays well all the time, rarely plays a bad game. And, he's certainly one of our absolute top players.
Yep. Elijah Hollins for 2 votes. One of my favourite players. He's been a great pickup this year. He had 21 disposals, 6 marks, 2 goals, 9 score involvements, and 4 clearances.
I reckon we might see a little bit more of Elijah in the middle, just because he's got a bit of an X factor. You know, he's got pace. He's got this. He can do amazing things. You know, he's a real X factor. So watch for him to really sort of take on a few more of those centre bounces and stoppages, and try and burst free from them.
Yeah. And then Mitch McGovern, 1 vote. So I don't care what you have to say about the final siren, but he had a spectacular game. He was pivotal in our fight back, taking crucial marks. He had 21 disposals, 10 marks, 5 intercept marks, 11 intercepts, 5 rebound 50s, and 5 1%ers.
It was a great game by him. He'll probably be always remembered for missing the shot.
Yes.
But that would be tough because he did actually not only played a good game, but he was particularly good in the last quarter and really helped us get back into it. So, and I think he was just a bit exhausted when he took the kick.
It's also hit to the face and high pressure environment with a bunch of maniac Collingwood fans behind him. So, feral as. So, those are our 5 votes, and I'll probably give a few mentions to Kennedy and Wiedering, who was another rock in defence. So I think the defences over the last couple of weeks has certainly stepped up after a few after a bit of a few wake up calls, especially against GWS and Western Bulldogs.
Yeah, I like Kennedy. He's my underrated player for the week because you got to remember this guy came on as a sub. I think pretty early, but he came on as a sub and got 17 touches. You know, so he's a pretty handy player, good contributor. Just on injuries, I think you mentioned. So Chera is one. It's one of those 2 injuries. Chera needs some time on the sidelines. He needs to get that hamstring right. It keeps on recurring. Cottrell likewise got injured again.
Out for the rest of the season.
So we've now got a few players like that are out for lengthy periods of time. Cottrell, I believe, is quite underrated. And Chera's, we've kind of not had Chera at his optimum performance all season, it seems.
No.
Which is a bit of a shame because when he's playing really well, he's our 3rd best midfielder.
I'd say his best game was opening round.
So he played a couple of good games really early, but he hasn't quite been the same, I don't think, since he had his first hamstring injury of the season.
Yeah. Unfortunate in the injury front, but again, next man up mentality needs to come through. So let's get into the preview of round 22 versus Hawthorn.
Oh, look, this is going to be a really tough match for us because you're talking about a team in form. They won 3 of the last 4, and I think it's something like 7 of the last 9 or something like that. They won 5 in a row before that.
Yeah.
So they're no slouches. Don't let their ladder position deceive you. I think they're actually quite a good team, and certainly their form's much better than ours. So we're going to have to play at our very, very best to knock them over. I think James Sicily has been in great form this season, their captain. He's someone we've got to watch out for. He's going to take a lot of intercept marks. We've got to be smarter in terms of how we go forward.
Yeah.
We can't just kick it straight to him. Got to look for where he is. The other thing is make him accountable by whoever's playing on him. Get out and about, and make him chase. So he doesn't have it all to himself. I don't know whether he'll actually, because he plays a lot of intercept marks, I don't know if he'll actually play directly on Colonel. He might. I mean, he'll probably have to if we get off the leash.
Yeah.
That's where a functioning forward line will make a big difference. But if we hit them on the turnovers and we move the ball quickly, someone like Sicily will probably find it much, much harder. Look, they've got quite a few talents up forward. I think Luke Bruce is still a wildly old character. Managed to kick goals. Maybe a Chol can be a threat. Ginnivan's been pretty good this year. Dunstan's always handy. I would say, though, pound for pound, if we're playing well, we should be able to cover that. I would think that someone like Jacob Wiedering would not be losing one-on-one contests with maybe a Chol. I would also think that the likes of Jordan Boyd and Adam Sard can take care of Jack Ginnivan. So we need all of our boys, though, to be right on.
Yeah.
And focused on the task, and it will depend on how quickly they can get the ball out of stoppages and how many turnovers we give them as well.
Yeah.
There. Look, they've got a lot of guys playing in form, but I guess the thing is they're still a young team.
Yeah.
And what we've seen this year is sometimes when teams have come at them hard late, they've found it difficult. So you're never out of it against Hawthorn. That's the way I'd see it. And I would say that weather a storm or two early, hang in there and throw everything at them late and see what happens, because I've got a feeling if it's close at all, they might wilt a bit.
Yeah, and they couldn't handle GWS's momentum last week. And remember early in the season when they lost to Port in the last seconds of that game, they couldn't handle the pressure there. Obviously, they would have learnt some lessons since then. And we know they'll be bringing their best because they want to play finals. But we want to play finals and we want to make top four.
There's a lot to play for.
There's a lot to play for. We do have to win every game to probably make the top four. I'm sure the players probably know that. I hope they're not thinking a bit too much about that, to be honest.
I think it's one game at a time at this stage.
Yeah.
We're actually coming in 8th.
Yeah.
So we've really got to win at least 2 of the next 3 to be confident of making the 8, and we've got to win all three to be have a chance at the top 4. So that's the challenge. We've made life hard for ourselves by not beating teams we should have beaten, and so we're going to have to come out hard and put the pressure on. I want to see a 4-quarter performance this time round.
Yeah, same. And all we can do is back the boys in. Remember, stronger together.
All right, so Khan the Blues.
Yep, predictions. We need to do predictions.
Look, I think I doubt that we'll probably win this one. So I can't see us tipping in to win.
I reckon the momentum we bring will just get us over the line this time. So by 4 points,
you're more optimistic than me.
Well, our best will beat the best.
But are we seeing our best at the moment?
Yeah, I don't know. But we have to make.
It would take a bit of a turnaround in form at the moment.
Yeah. Thank you for watching episode 13 of the Perth Blue Baggers pod. If you have any thoughts, please comment below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram. Thank you. Up the Baggers.
Khan the Blues.